Could you give me a sense of where this question has kind of taken you from, even to the point now where you're like, okay, look, it's not another culture, another process, another book. There's something that's deeply personal about this question for me, and where a sense of it may even reside.
So originally it took me into my mind, thinking that there were answers I needed to get, or there was a lack of information and knowledge, which was probably true. So that led to a ton of reading about more mechanistic aspects of myself. So the mechanistic aspects of my mind, of my hormones, of my mood, where my emotions originate from, etc. That could only take me so far. I felt like I was a mechanic who knew how the car operated very well, but didn't know how to drive the car. So then I had to let go of all of that knowledge of the mechanistic ways that my body and my mind function, and I had to lean into more self-observation. So that led me towards yoga, it led me towards silent retreats, led me towards, those were two kind of primary containers. Seeking out people that were wiser than me, who had gone further along the path and the journey. My mother's passing led me towards much deeper and bigger questions. Also watching her and seeing in the last 8 months of her life the amount of burden that she released, that she had been carrying throughout all of her life. And I saw the weight of that. And I saw the lightness in her once she started to release all of the dynamics that can often exist between her and herself and her and others, family members, past traumas, wounds that hadn't been healed. And when I saw that she actually started to confront those, I saw this lightness, this almost this youthful beauty that started to come through in somebody who was going through an extremely terrible illness, which at her body, she was getting thinner and weaker, yet there was a sort of light that was coming through in her eyes. There was a joy that was coming through in her energy that I hadn't seen in a long time. So then after that, actually, I ended up back in Ireland for 8 months in my own isolation, being back at the home that I grew up in, but all of the familiar things were gone. The friends were gone. The neighbors were different. There was different people around. The town felt different. The town that I knew that I left. My mum was no longer there. My sister was no longer there. My friends were all gone. So who was I in this space? So these sorts of things had to be questioned. Then you get into the phase of like I'm being driven to make money and make an impact through my work. But the impact that I'm longing for is more of an impact within myself that I can share outwardly with others, as opposed to trying to make an impact on other people's lives so it will reflect back to give meaning to myself. That's sort of the way I was going, and I realized that as I earned money and as I got great reflections and feedback from people about the work that I was doing, what it was offering to them, it wasn't filling me, because I wasn't turning my attention inward on myself, on seeing what was really longed for here. So we went from the mind to let go of that, to move into the body. Exploring the body helped a lot, doing a lot of movement practices. And I feel as though the final frontier now is the heart, which is a space that I didn't really give much attention to at all throughout this journey. I didn't acknowledge, I didn't really appreciate nor recognize what the connection is between the mind and the heart, and when you can integrate that, what you can get from it. So that's where it's taking me to now. And that doesn't look like anything. In truth, it has no specific form. There's no series of reps that I need to get in every day. There's no training plan. I don't know what the outcome is. It's an open curiosity and exploration of trying to uncover things within myself. Because what's driving me there is because I know that something is missing. I know that I found all of these distinct parts of myself, and now I'm trying to find some sort of a unity between them. So there might not be as much efforting or action that needs to take place. Perhaps there just needs to be a lot more observation and awareness of seeing how I can bring these elements together. So for somebody who's hearing this, that might just sound so esoteric and abstract and nothing doing. But in fact, it's the most challenging part, because I don't have a mental framework to operate through. All the other parts had some sort of a conceptual framework, but I recognize that the next phase needs to be about letting that go and literally being drawn towards what the heart is being drawn towards, bringing a lot more love and acceptance into my search of myself.